All right, my friends, let's continue. Battle of the bikes. Today, we've got the Marlin 7 and the Roscoe 6. Let's get on topic. Hey everybody, it's Thomas, Get Out Arizona, and you are watching another great episode of Bike Showcase on Toolbox Topic. Once again, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Brandon Van Looven. Brandon, how the hell are you?
We're doing all right.
Nice. How was your weekend?
It's a good weekend.
Good, relaxed, little drink, little football.
Got a little stuff done. It was
Nice.
good.
All right, well, there you have it. Better than what I did. Well, I did a nice trail walk, and so it was good. Yeah, delightful. In white tanks, it was great. Once again, check Bicycle Stores of West Phoenix in Goodyear, Arizona, where the cool kids hang out, and me. And like I said in our introduction, we are continuing our battle of the bikes. We've been putting bikes head-to-head, similar categories, sometimes similar price ranges, to try to offer you guys a better grasp of which bike might be more suited for you, depending on the style of rider you are, depending on your budgetary needs too. You know, we
That's
can't
kind of what this
ignore
one's
that.
about too.
Yep. And so we have two current gen, since Trek no longer lists what generation these are on their website, they're current generation Marlin bikes and Roscoe bikes, not to be confused with the wizard from King Arthur or Roscoe Pico Train. This one will not write you a ticket for being in a speed trap. So, Brandon, we have two hardtails, obviously.
Yes.
We got front suspension of varying quality, but we also have these bikes for two different styles of riders and what you're going to use them for, not to mention usually price points, but these are only $100 difference. We have $12.99 and $11.99. Now, I don't know what the Roscoe 7 is. I'll put that price down there. But this is kind of as close as a comparison as you're going to get for a lot of those entry-level riders. Now, some of you might be going, Thomas, $1,200 ain't necessarily an entry-level price. I get that. They do have some less expensive Marlins and some less expensive Roscoes, and we would never want to discount, you know, again, budget. $1,200 is a lot of cash, okay? But for where we're at in the mountain biking community and the state of mountain biking or cycling in general, $1,200 is very entry level as far as a price tag.
Unfortunately.
So, Brandon, take it away.
So it might seem a little unfair that we're doing a comparison between a Marlin 7 and a Roscoe 6. I typically like to do a 6 and a 6, a 7 and a 7, go head to head on those guys. But I can't ignore the price point. If someone is looking at the Marlin 7, likes what the Marlin 7 has to offer, I have no choice but to say, look at this bike.
Right.
This one is the exact same price, but there are some key differences. Definitely going down to the 6, we're losing some features that the 7 Marlin does have. It is certainly a better spec than the Marlin 6.
Right.
But let's look at these platforms. Let's look at these chassis.
Absolutely.
On these two.
And I want to note that the previous generation Marlin was not this well equipped.
No, nope.
Not even close, guys.
Couldn't put a dropper post on it. Only, well, a few of them you could, but most of them you couldn't put a dropper post on.
And if you did, you had to route it externally. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was lacking in that series of bike. And since Trek has redesigned it and stepped up, we see a lot more value opportunity with the Marlin than we did in previous generations. So. All right, Brandon, take it away. Let's start from the front and work our way back.
All right. So one thing you should note, there's a price difference. That one is a little bit more, but you're going to be paying even more when you want to go tubeless. Right. This one is ready to go with tubeless-ready wheels and tires, but they do not give you, I should say, they do give you inner tubes out of the box.
Okay.
So should you want to go tubeless day one, you're going to be spending another 60, 70, 80 bucks.
Okay, which ain't too bad.
To make this thing tubeless.
Well, because at that point, you're going to have to do the tape, and then
the rim strip,
the rim strip, and then the juju, and then of course the labor
and the valves.
Yeah, and the valves.
And the valves for doing that.
So,
whereas the Roscoe, you are tubeless day one.
Day one,
which is really nice.
Okay.
So,
but at least this one now is tubeless ready, where before
it wasn't. To go tubeless. The 6, I think you're right. I think the 6 was not quite tubeless ready last gen.
Yep.
You had to go to the 7 or the 8 to get that. Some things definitely were confusing towards the end because they were starting to spec bikes, some with, some with. Yeah. It got confusing around that COVID time, of course, but that's all right. Great wheels on them, just fine for the price point. Again, I think the tubeless factor is something to be considered.
Yeah, because
this one's already $100 more, plus you add in another $100 to do that, so something to be considered.
Right.
Tires on here are the big thing. So these guys are going to have a maximum of a 2.4 tire clearance.
Okay.
This one has a maximum of 2.6.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like a lot,
but
when you put them next to each other,
Yeah.
this looks far more aggressive.
Yes.
Far more capable. So yes, if the pocketbook allows this price point, and say you're just getting into mountain biking, I know the spec isn't quite as good on this one. We'll get to that in a second, but the capability of the tires will help a new rider immensely.
Absolutely.
Especially where we live now, we're trying to get through deep sand, over rocks. These big tires are not only going to make that rider a little more confident
right.
and feel better at what they're doing, but you're going to have more fun too. And
yeah.
I want somebody who's buying a bike for the first time to have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to to this bike, given someone new, ready to spend this kind of cash.
Absolutely. And guys, if you're wondering, I'm not pregnant. I got a back brace on. Man, my back issues have just been increasing exponentially.
It's gonna be a little shock.
I've been friggin' working hard, right?
Yes,
it's twins. Been working hard to drop that fluff, and now it looks like I'm fluffy again. It's a back brace. I was in the hospital a couple days ago.
You've been ODing on Kate's bars again. I know
Jesus. Yeah, that's a different story for a different day. July 3rd, it was a couple days ago, but this is what I have for the next several days. So it is what it is. We work through it. All right, so continue. So
cockpit is nearly identical on both of these bikes. But if you look at the head tubes, this bike is going to leave you much more room for
adjustment.
Not adjustment, but for upgrades in the future.
Oh, okay.
This one has a tapered head tube.
Oh, this one does not. Yes, that's huge, important there.
Right.
Well, and it's important too when we talk about
shocks. And you're going to want to upgrade
shocks.
because this fork it's not the greatest.
Right.
It's all right. It's a Sun Tour fork. It's an air fork, but
well, it's a Sun Tour
it
too.
leaves a bit to be desired, as I like to say.
Yeah.
So
think about that. This fork is a RockShox.
Mm-hmm.
It is an air. It is
RockShox air fork.
Yep.
It's
adjustable
a good fork too.
So it's not too bad.
Not
but
quite
again,
as robust. This is a larger stanchion than that one. So it's
pros and cons on that. But keep in mind, they're both entry-level forks. They're going to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
You get, 130 millimeters of travel on these?
I forgot to look. I think so.
I'll put it on the thing. I think it's like 130.
Yep, and you get 140 on this guy and a through axle.
Yes, which is
nice. So we got a crappier fork, but now we got a through axle and the ability to upgrade later.
I know. Where do you go? Where do you go from that?
So
we're going to have dual piston brakes on these, disc brakes.
Single pistons.
Single pistons.
Okay. On these guys.
So, and again, we're talking about price point. So let's talk about frame material. These are both going to be the same hydroform aluminum.
Hydroform gold.
Yep.
Alpha aluminum.
So there's no difference there.
There's platinum above that, which is a little bit lighter, a little bit better, but we're not gonna be able to tell the difference.
Absolutely
honestly.
not. So now when we talk about the drivetrain in the group, we're just seeing the SRAM.
Right. And this is where really the Marlin is making the Rosco 6 look kind of dumb.
Right.
That's a very current drivetrain, 1x12. It's the SRAM SX line.
Right. Which is solid.
It's all right.
It's all right. I'd prefer a GX on this, but then we're talking more money.
I find much easier to work with an SX for sure, or even NX.
But we still have a solid group. And yeah, at least it's not NX. So.
Yep, exactly. This one you're going to get Qs, 9-speed Qs.
Okay.
So your range is good, but the ability to define a comfortable gear in between these gears, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Be a little bit tougher.
Yep.
So 9-speed Qs. Qs is great. It's great. Qs is all right. it's pretty
easy
good.
to work on at least.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Somewhere. Yeah. It's a Shimano's universal group set.
Right.
And you know what, guys? Here, after we get done doing the comparison series, we might just do one on the Shimano Qs. We've had some people been asking about it, pros and cons and stuff like that. And from what Brandon said, it's nice to have a universal group set to work on as far as from a maintenance ability. So, okay. So,
got the dropper post. This is our entry-level line dropper post from Bontrager.
Okay.
But cool thing, you would have never got a dropper post on a Marlin 6 until this current generation.
Yep.
So,
which is nice.
People love those things.
They do.
They're a seller. So, so that also goes into the favor of the new generation Marlin.
Nothing to write home on the saddle, guys. And like we talk about, like with the grips and the saddle and stuff like that, these are things you can easily upgrade.
And have fun with. Yep.
For a little bit of money and really make the bike your own. Now, they're both going to come with pedals. These are going to be just plastic flats. If anything, just be one of the things I would change out right away. You can get yourself a good set of flat pedals that'll last for $60, $80. Yeah. Actually, not that bad.
Really good ones.
You know, Brandon sells a good selection of them here. So let's talk about the rider and what's going to delineate one camp here and one camp here. Now, when I think of the Marlin, I think of, you know, you got the couple, maybe a family, they're tooling around the motorhome, they got good quality bikes that they all could afford. These are going to be great for on the back of that motorhome. They're just looking to get these around camp, maybe, you know, ride a few miles to the general store, maybe do some trail riding and everything. And you can take this on some stout trails. We've had you guys comment, which I think is great, on all the stuff you've done to your Marlins and how well they're treating you. But, you know, you make slight upgrades on this one and you call it good, where this one, this is for that mountain bike rider who maybe this is where their budget is now, but as they move forward, they're going to put the bomb upgrades on
much
here.
more upgradable.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have a little bit more durability down the road, especially having that through axle up front, and the ability to upgrade everything else to what you need it. You can easily upgrade this, you know, to surpass a Roscoe 9, you know, as far as what it's spec'd out over a period of time. Yeah, that's kind of where I see it. You correct me if I'm wrong.
That's one way to look at it. I would say, from where I sit, again, if we're looking at a new rider, I'm going to point them to the Roscoe. I think they're getting more fun on the Roscoe, and the Roscoe will allow them to progress more as they move on.
Right.
I think this bike is exceptional for perhaps that NICA rider.
Okay.
You know, someone who's racing.
Okay.
At a very good price and a very raceable bike. It's not the end-all be-all race bike for sure.
I stand corrected.
But it could do that for someone who's just in high school.
Yeah.
And their parents don't want to spend.
Because you don't know if they're going to stick with it or not. Yeah.
This would be a fantastic choice, and anybody in high school should be more than happy to ride a bike like this.
Absolutely.
It's a fantastic bike for that.
I look back in the comments, and I'm not going to, I mean, people comment, it's public domain and everything. I get it and everything. But a gentleman from the UK, we actually have a fairly large contingent of subscribers from the UK, and he was telling us about the upgrades he had done to his Marlin based on the video he did, the things you could do to upgrade your Marlin and everything. He loves that thing. He says he takes it out on all the trails and everything and has no issues with it. So guys, I don't want you to think that this is a poo-poo throwaway bike. It's not.
It's absolutely
I think it's just going to be for a different type of rider. If you're a more aggressive rider, I think the Roscoe is going to be the way to go.
And that too, yeah.
You could still get out and get after it on this. Jesus, with all the different bikes I've owned, I don't think I've ever taken it easy on any of them as far as that goes. And so that's proof that you could do whatever you want on the bike. You just have to use a little common sense in certain areas.
Right.
But I think no matter which one you bought, I don't think there's going to be a longing like, oh crap, I should have bought the other one.
But the consumer has some thinking to do if we're talking about the battle of the price is right.
Yeah.
So think about what you want to do, where you're at.
A whole lot for $11.99.
It's a lot of most of our job is to get you on the right thing. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be, this is some muddy waters right here.
It is. But you know what's not muddy waters? Like, subscribe, bell notification icon. It's an easy decision to make, my friends. Kind of late in the video to be bringing that up, but I figured, whatever. Right, and upgradability. I mean, seriously. Some people like to buy a bike and just leave it alone, and that's it. And when something breaks, they'll replace it with what was already on there. Yep. But other people, man, they'll get into it, and, you know, they get the bug, and they're like, all right, where can I start, you know, the improvements? On this one, I would definitely go with the fork. The fork and the rim set first. You know, the shifting and everything I can live, but I would want definitely a better fork up front. So, and we didn't even talk about weight on these bikes, and Brandon probably doesn't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a thing down there.
I think this guy's just under 34 pounds.
Okay.
And this one's just around 32 pounds.
Okay.
So there is a big difference in weight.
Yeah, a couple pounds.
It's those big tires.
It is.
I mean, there's a penalty to be paid. For having this kind of capability.
Yeah, when she's roaming through the hips, guys, you're gonna get dinged for that. I'm gonna have that weight listed so you guys have the exact weight. You know, so I won't hold Brandon to the trial on that one. So, all right, Brandon, anything else you want to add as we close out this? We have two great bikes at two great price points.
Tough decisions.
Very, very similar. Tough decisions.
We'll leave that up to them.
Absolutely, and hopefully this video will help you make that decision. But just like we've said before in all our previous videos, like, subscribe, bell notification icon, helps out the video, helps out the channel. The link's down below. Trek Bicycle Stores of West of Phoenix is the most important one. Why? Because after a video like this and you have questions, you can follow that link. You can reach out to Brandon and his team directly, and maybe they can help guide you a little bit more on which bike might be the right one for you. Social media links, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the devil's work, but we need it to get the word out for Get Out Arizona. We do group rides, we do group hikes, not many lately because I forget friggin' gnarled up. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. But follow us there. Keep up on all the day-to-day stuff with Get Out Arizona. I guarantee you it's a lot of fun. Little trail shorts and stuff like that. And our toolbox topic quick tips, which seem to be very popular, which we're thankful for. Other links are going to be affiliate links down below. If you make a qualifying purchase, we receive a small commission, which helps out with gas money, park pass money, coffee money, the other trifecta we enjoy so much here at Get Out Arizona. My friends, it's a win-win situation. It's the way I like to look at it. So, closing out, what do we always say? Be kind to yourself and others. Be amazing stewards on that trail. And we have to ask, what are you waiting for?
Get Out Arizona.
Damn straight. We'll see you on that next adventure. Take care, everybody. Brandon, we'll see you next week, buddy.